Can you see that too, guys?
Yeah, looking good. Perfect.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Helen. And after all these previous sessions, where I was constantly asking questions and also referring to the FIP, I'm really very pleased that I'm given the opportunity to actually introduce this Freshwater Information Platform to you in a bit more detail. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Astrid Schmidt-Kloiber. I'm working at the University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences in Vienna. And from my training background, I'm a freshwater ecologist with focus on benthic invertebrates, as you can obviously see. And in the last years, I have started to, or decades already, I've started to work on freshwater biodiversity, and here mainly focusing on data mobilization, and freshwater biodiversity data publication. In my talk, I will focus on three main topics. I will introduce the Freshwater Information Platform to you. Then I will shortly tackle on the challenges that we face. And the third part is about possible cooperations between your network and our Freshwater Information Platform. So I start the question, why would we need another information platform? Why, when we have already so many out there? And I think the answers might sound very familiar to you, because these were also the reasons why you started your work. So freshwaters are under threat, but on the other hand, species distribution data are needed to understand biodiversity dynamics and to understand the underlying drivers, but data are often difficult to access. And the reason for that, or the reason that I see for that, is that there is no systematic data publishing practices out there. And it's often very difficult to collect the data or to extract the data and find the data. And so this is so, even because data and knowledge are generated through publicly funded research or monitoring programs. At least this is the case in Europe. So much of this data is produced by EU-funded research, but it's still not considered to be common good, and it still cannot be extracted at one place. So the idea that we had when we created the Freshwater Information Platform was we wanted to collect information and data on freshwater related research that comes from different research projects and from different networks, provide access to original data as well as to summarizing research results, arrange everything clearly and easily, and all in one place. So these were our basic aims. And the development of the Freshwater Information Platform started within a EU-funded research project, which was called BioFresh, and which was from 2010 to 2014. And after that, so in this project, we already established a BioFresh information platform. And after that, we added information that we had from other research projects. And we all compiled this in www.freshwaterplatform.eu. So the Freshwater Information Platform was born. Yeah, we also published this as a paper in Hydrobiologia. So if you now look at the first page of this platform, you will find, well, let me use the pointer. You will find different boxes over here. So this is the first page, and if you scroll down, you will find more boxes, and each of these boxes corresponds to one specific part of the Freshwater Information Platform. So if you're now looking at these boxes, in the first row, we have the freshwater metadatabase and the metadata journal, then the Freshwater Biodiversity Data Portal, and the Freshwater Biodiversity Atlas. And these three parts are considered the publishing unit of the Freshwater Information Platform. And I will talk about this in a bit more detail a bit later. And the fourth part is a species traits database. And then we have this box, for example, about the research deliverables. Here we collected all deliverables that we got from different EU-funded projects in one place. So if you are interested in the research outcomes of a research project, you would not need to go to 20 different web pages, but find all the deliverables from these projects in this place. And the same is true for the freshwater tools. Here we collect just links or some detailed information on freshwater tools that are used for freshwater biodiversity analysis, for example. In the resource box, you will find a glossary of terms. You will find information about freshwater journals. Also, we collect some videos stored there and guidelines and interviews. And then we have the box about the freshwater policies. Here you can find some information about policy frameworks, mainly related to Europe, and also policy briefs. Also this part is really focused on Europe, even so the Freshwater Information Platform is meant to be a global endeavor. And in the last row, we have the freshwater information systems. This might also be very interesting for you. Here you can navigate the information system landscapes. That means we collected links of different information systems that are out there. And in the Freshwater Network and Project section, we'll link to other projects working on freshwater. And then we have another box for fact sheets, so short communications about research findings. And then we have also this news box indicated by this green background over here. This news box always features some recent research findings. In this case, it's the recommendation book from the Mars project. And the last box is the freshwater blog. And the freshwater blog that features freshwater news on a regular basis, and it is written by a professional science journalist. So this is, for example, the latest blog post about pesticides, and this is a picture about our blog post about the European caddisfly atlas. So now, as I said, I will tell you a bit more about the publishing unit, because I think this is the part that might be most interesting for you. As I said, it consists of 3 parts, and I will start with the freshwater metadatabase and the freshwater metadata journal. The metadatabase offers a questionnaire where you can actually fill in the metadata. So I suppose you all know what metadata is. Metadata are data about actual data. So data that describe, for example, your species distribution data set. And you can fill in this metadata in a questionnaire. We offer a multilingual interface, so you can enter the data in English, French, German, and Dutch. We offer further a query tool where you can search for appropriate data sets, meaning if you want to do research and you are looking for additional data, you can use the query tool to find these additional data and to get information on these data, like, for example, the intellectual property right or the accessibility. But we offer also a full text search, so you can search for any term that is registered in the metadatabase. And the metadatabase also offers different export options, also export options that can directly import it then into the GBIF IPT. And all data that are collected in the metadatabase are subject to a quality control. So if you now want to enter data, we have tried to do it in very easy way. We provide some standard metadata fields that are used in other biodiversity databases, but we also ask some more questions that might be relevant for science work. The whole stuff is organized in 9 information blocks, which I will show you in the next slide. We have divided the fields that you need to fill into mandatory, recommended, and optional fields, and these are all marked in different colors. And then we have tried to integrate as many checkboxes and selection lists as possible so that data entry really goes fast. And we also provide some tooltips in case you don't know what to fill into the field. You can use the tooltips to see. So this is basically, these are the 9 information blocks. So we collect information, general information on the data sets, then technical information on the data sets. So who is the data owner, who provided the metadata, who is the scientific contact person, and so on. And the most important part is the section about the intellectual property rights. So who can use the data, and what are the citation rules, for example, or what restrictions are on this data. And then we collect, depending on which kind of data you submit to the metadatabase, we collect data about the biology, about how the samples were taken, and about climate and the environment. So this is how the freshwater metadatabase, the first site looks like. Here you can directly enter the query tool. Here you can fill in the data, and here you can publish the data. If we now look at the entering, so if you click on the entering box, you will basically get a list of databases. You will be provided a login first, and then you will find your data set over here. And then if you click this open view button, nothing happens. Then you will get a list of with these 9 information blocks. And if you then click on the little triangle over here, the information, the site will open where you enter your information. And as I said, the mandatory data are marked in purple, recommended data are in blue, and optional data are in green. And then you just tick the check boxes, go through all these fields, and submit the data to the database. This is how you entered data. And if you are now looking for data that you want to use in your research, as I said, we offer 2 different tools, the query tool and the full text search. So this is how the query tool looks like. Over here, you can, for example, decide on which ecosystem type you are interested. For example, you choose rivers, and then here you can choose the region you're interested in, the organism group you are interested in, even the time. And if you then press on the search button, you will get a list of data sets that correspond to your requirements. And in this list, you immediately see who is the scientific contact person of this data set. You can directly look at this data set by pressing this button, Open View. And here you can download different things like a PDF file of this metadata, or if there is a freshwater metadata journal article, you are linked, here is also a link. And if data, if actual data are connected to this metadata, you will find the data links over here. And this is how the full text search looks like. So this is very easy. You just enter a search string over here, like a Drava, which is a river in Europe, and then press search, and you will find again a list of data sets that contain this, this term. And what we have done here recently is we have connected our database to other existing information systems. So this is the Aquacross Information Platform, and then this is Danube Catchment Project. And if you click these boxes over here, you can use the full text search over all these sources. So you will get a list of entries or data sets of all 4 of these databases. And this could be easily extended to any other information system out there. Connected to the freshwater metadatabase is the freshwater metadata journal. And this allows you to publish the entries that you have put in this questionnaire as a journal article. And you can do this with just 1 mouse click. So you enter the data in the metadatabase, and then you press the button publish as journal article, then you have the option to add an annex, for example, for photos or so. Then the whole thing will undergo a review process. The publication will get a digital object identifier, and then it gets published and again creates high visibility of your work. And this is how such a metadata article would look like. And you can also download it from our website. So it's all open access, of course. Oh, I didn't mention that. The second part of the publishing unit is the Freshwater Biodiversity Data Portal. So this is basically the portal where we offer occurrence records. It was meant for to be global portal, but main data are from Europe up to now. It also offers to check a curated freshwater species lists that are based on the FADA system. I will talk about FADA a bit later. And you can query the occurrence data. So here's, for example, species list. And this is, for example, the map of Limnephilus rhombicus distributions in Europe. And if you look at it, you will immediately see that it already looks a little bit outdated compared to what you guys are currently creating. So this is because the portal was developed from 2010 to 2014, and since then we didn't have any update. And this is the main issue. We don't have the money for further development. So it's still working, but we cannot process it further. And we also cannot mobilize data because we don't have the funding for that. So to still be able to publish freshwater data despite this shortcoming of funding and the funding for the portal, we have started a close collaboration with GBIF, and the intention is to publish high quality freshwater occurrence data within GBIF, because the issue with GBIF always is the quality control. So at least from my macroinvertebrate point of view. So you have many data that are not quality controlled, which you can find on GBIF. We are using a specific freshwater core template for publishing on GBIF. We are also using their integrated publishing toolkit, or IPT. It's called BioFresh IPT. And all the data sets that are published here or are published through the GBIF IPT will be listed in the so-called GBIF Freshwater Network. So the idea is to connect the FIP freshwater data publishing unit with GBIF, and therefore to facilitate free and open access to freshwater distribution data. Because if you are a freshwater researcher and you approach GBIF, you cannot immediately see which data sets are freshwater data sets and which are other data sets. You can do this through the occurrence, through the species search, but you cannot search for freshwater data sets as a whole. And this is what we wanted to change with this freshwater network. The little shortcoming over here is that we still have the freshwater, the taxonomy of GBIF in the background and not the taxonomy of the FADA lists. So this is how this freshwater network page looks like on GBIF, and I'll talk on this a little bit later again. The third unit of the publishing unit is the Global Freshwater Biodiversity Atlas. Here we present maps that show the state of freshwater biodiversity, and this also increases visibility of research that is related to spatial information. And maps of the atlas were already used for various decision making and policy, because these visualizations are good tools for selling things. The atlas features an interactive map interface. Each map is accompanied by a specific article that is explaining what you can see on the map. You can also, there are also links to the contributors of the map and the citations and so on. But also again here, this needs technically updating. So we are working on that at the moment. That is why the atlas is offline for now. But also here, we would need some more funding to really make this a powerful tool again. This is basically how it looks like. This is the starting page. If you click on this button, this box over here, you will come to the maps, and then you have different chapters over here, like for example, maps about freshwater biodiversity or freshwater ecosystems, and also about pressures and impacts. And if you then choose one map, you will get display over here, and you will get it displayed over here, and you can zoom in and zoom out. This is about freshwater mussels and species richness in Africa and Madagascar. And if you are interested in more details, you just press on this article tab over here, and you will get a short article explaining the map content, the methods, and so on. And then you have also this copyright button where you can find information on how to cite the data, and also where you can download the data. As I said, I will now introduce two more parts of the FIP, because I think I have mentioned them in the last series, and I think they also might be interesting for you. The first one is the Freshwater Species Traits database, which is called Freshwater Ecologyinfo. This database provides a data summary on ecological preferences and biological traits of European freshwater species. We have over 20,000 different species in this database belonging to these 5 groups over here. So belong to fish, macroinvertebrates, macrophytes, phytobenthos, and phytoplankton. And we offer more than 100 traits. I even think there are more than 115 by now. And also here, this part of the Freshwater Information Platform is mainly maintained through projects. So whenever we have a project that can add information to the database, this information will be added. And we are currently preparing a major update, and the screenshots that you will see here are the unpublished version of the new update. But I hope so that we will go online with this end of June. So this is the starting page of the Freshwater Ecology.info database. And here you can just click on one of these organism groups, like for example, on the macroinvertebrates, and then you will be brought to a list of ecological preferences and biological traits, where you then can choose what you further want to do. So these are the different parameter groups that we offer. We offer information about the ecoregion, about habitats where the species live, for example, or about the species themselves. And for example, I have a screenshot here of the feeding type. So if you're interested in macroinvertebrate species that are feeding as predators, you can define this here. And then if you click on the search button over here, you will get a list. In this case, it's Ephemeroptera and Odonata that feed basically from prey. So all this list, in the list, you will only find those feeding from prey. And then if you click on this little booklet icon over here, you will get a reference. So this is how the data needs to be cited. So whenever you need you use the data, you need to cite it as it is shown in this little box. The database has a registering process, and currently we have over 2,200 registered users. And the information that we offer in this trade database is the base information that is used for freshwater assessment in the European Union according to the Water Framework Directive. But the data are also used for other purposes, for example, for species distribution modeling or for climate change modeling and evaluation, restoration modeling, and so on. So on the right-hand side, you can see just a few publications that were published using the data from freshwaterecology.info. And the other part that I now want to talk about is this FADA list. So basically, this brings us back to the very first page of the Freshwater Information Platform. And then if you click on this Freshwater Information System box, you will end up at a page where we collect all different information systems that are out there. And these information systems are divided into European data portals, so data portals that are offered by the EU, then biodiversity related data portals and data sources, then spatial data sources like our atlas, for example, then other information portals that contain more general information, for example, and then we have also a collection of data repositories that are used in freshwater science. So if you now click on this biodiversity related data box, then you come to this page, and then here you will find the FADA, the Freshwater Animal Diversity Assessment box. So what is this freshwater animal diversity assessment? This is an information system that is dedicated to freshwater animal species diversity on a global scale. It contains curated species lists, and it contains global distribution patterns, which were both compiled by world experts for the specific freshwater organism groups. It is online. I think I have forgotten to add the link, but I will do that for the presentation upload. So you can browse it online, search it online. And these lists are the taxonomic backbone for the Freshwater Information Portal data portal. Currently, there are 64 specific taxa groups, freshwater specific taxa groups in the database, and for 30 of these taxa groups, you can download checklists as PDF files. And in future, the future work includes that the FADA list should be, to my mind, should become the taxonomic backbone of GBIF. But this would require the update of some lists, because the work of FADA dates back already starting, I think, 2005. And since then, things might have changed. So it needs updates of the lists. And it also needs new ways of easy curating the species in the system by experts. So up to now, if a taxon has changed its name, the expert would have to inform the FADA developers, and these would then change this in the system. But what I'm thinking about is something that the experts can do on their own. So this is basically how the website looks like. And as you can see here, you can browse and search the species lists. And the whole stuff, and also publications on the specific taxa groups, were published in a special issue of Hydrobiologia in the year 2008, for those who are interested to read about it. Okay, so this was a little bit about the content of the Freshwater Information Platform, and I will now tell you about the organization and the management. So who are the organizations behind this database or the information platform? The platform was founded by 4 institutes who are also now responsible for maintaining it. This is on the one hand our university in Vienna, then the University of Duisburg-Essen in Germany, the Leibniz Institute of Freshwater Ecology and Inland Fisheries in Berlin, and the Royal Belgian Institute of Natural Sciences in Brussels. These 4 institutes worked together in this BioFresh project, and after the BioFresh project, we decided that we would join forces to create this platform, to collect all this information from our previous research projects, and so that we don't have to build up a new web page every time we have a new research project, but collect all the information in one place. And the main funding of the FIP goes through research projects. This means we have no dedicated FIP officer who is actively searching for data or mobilizing data, unfortunately. So this is something we are still working on. And we have regular meeting to decide what is going on and what's happening next. The Freshwater Information Platform has 2 main current corporations. The first one is with GeoBond, so with the Biodiversity Observation Network. We have created a freshwater bond already a few years ago. And this freshwater bond would like to assess the status of trend of freshwater biodiversity. And then the second cooperation is with the Alliance for Freshwater Life. This is a global initiative uniting specialists in 5 main topics. So this is research, data and synthesis, conservation, education and outreach and policy making. And those 2 networks use the Freshwater Information Platform as a joint dissemination outlet and as a publishing unit. But basically, we are open for any cooperation, so anyone can join in and help to enlarge the network, and anyone can also make use of the FIP as a dissemination outlet. The FIP can be used to reach out for the freshwater community and to raise awareness of your own work. This can, for example, be done by using the freshwater blog and writing about your research. But also we could offer specific project websites within the FIP. And as I said, the FIP, the second part that you can use is the publishing unit of the FIP. Unfortunately, I also do have to tackle the challenges that we face. And as you might have anticipated already, the main thing is about funding. So we do not have specific funds for the FIP, and especially not for activities that are related to content and data mobilizations. And at least for 2 parts of the main parts of this publishing unit, we would need new technical solutions. And we recently got a very big EU-funded project. It was granted to us, and this will offer the opportunity to update the main structure of the website and the search functionalities, for example. But it will not be possible to do this technical stuff for the atlas and the portal. So here we are really interested in foundations and and also we would be interested in your experiences, how you got the money for moving this forward. Before I now talk about the cooperations that I see between the FIP and African Freshwater Biodiversity Network, I just want to summarize in one slide about the lessons we have learned so far. So we're working on that already quite a time, since the year 2010. And there are, of course, many things that we've learned so far. And the first thing I want to mention here is that successful data mobilization needs extensive operational support, because you actively need to hunt for data. It's still not the case that people come to you and say, oh, we have data, can you please publish them? So basically, it is always the way around. You have asked the people for publishing data. And it also needs sufficient resources for the data delivery and the data processing. This includes, for example, quality control. And what we also face here in Europe is that there is still reluctance to publish occurrence data. I don't know if this is also the case in Africa, but in Europe, so people are very reluctant to give their data to the community. And here we have to do some convincing work. We have to outline the advantages that are visibility, recognition, possibility for new research collaborations, and also the possibility for large-scale analysis. So if we have this data, then we can use it, commonly use it. For example, for the WWF Freshwater Living Planet Index. This index would urgently need, for example, also macroinvertebrate data. And what I think is also very important, we need a systematic approach for data publishing. This starts with metadata publishing and then goes further with publishing the data once you submit a scientific article. And to my mind, all these processes need to be written down in institutional data policies and in institutional data management plans. So these are the things we all have to work on. Okay, so this brings me to my last slides that deal with how can we work together, we as FIP and you as African Freshwater Biodiversity Network. And here is what we can offer. So we can offer to publish your metadata and metadata papers. As I already said several times in my talk now, that creates better visibility of your work and of your efforts, which might then pay back by new research collaborations, for example. You can use all our search functionalities and the connection with other information systems to find data that you need for your own research. And for all of you who do not have a portal yet, we can offer that you use the FIP integrated publishing toolkit to publish your data to GBIF and to the Freshwater Network. And this is easily done because we have this Freshwater Darwin Core template that we can send, or that you can also download from the website. It just needs to be filled, and then we can upload the data and publish them through GBIF. What we also can offer, that we link your portal to the Freshwater Information Platform. For example, having a different or a specific box for African occurrence data portals at one glance, where you can click on and then you will be linked to all your institutions and all your portals. What I would need for that is just a link that to your specific portal. And what we also offer, and what I really want to do, is I want to publish with you together a blog post about this African biodiversity seminar series, because I really think it's a good cooperation and a good network. Yeah, and this will also, again, create visibility of your work and increase the traffic to your portals and so on. And now we come to the part what I kindly ask from you. I would really want to improve the GBIF Freshwater Network website. So I really would ask you, if you have published data sets through GBIF already, to send me the links to these data sets so that I can link them to the Freshwater network. So your institution will then be listed and your data sets will be listed. And this will allow other freshwater researchers to easily find freshwater data and your data in specifically. So this means here is the members of the Freshwater Network. So your institution would be listed over here. And the data sets, your data sets would be just listed here. And this would really make it easier for other freshwater researchers, I think. And what I definitely plan to build on is we need to update our portal, and I really very much like the FIP's approach. So I'm dreaming of a European freshwater biodiversity data portal, because this would then also include a curation system for the FADA taxonomists. And it would also give us an option to display the maps from our atlas in the background of the biodiversity portal. So it would be a win-win-win situation. But also here, I still need to find the appropriate funds. But yeah, I hope I will succeed at some stage. Okay, and with that, I want to thank you for your attention. I think it was pretty much information. Yeah, I'm happy to take any questions, but first, I think I hand over to Gerald for the introduction of the AquaHub.